Good morning. Thank you all for joining. We will give just a moment to clear the waiting room and make sure that folks have connected to audio. As a reminder, when you are entering from the waiting room, please do remain on mute unless or until you are appearing or providing testimony before the board. Good morning. This is a hearing before the licensing board for the city of Boston. Today is Wednesday, August 7th, 2024. Today's hearing is being held pursuant to temporary amendments to the open meeting law. That is what allows us to meet virtually. Today's hearing is being recorded and will be posted to the City of Boston's website. Before I review procedural matters, I will introduce Chairwoman of the Board, Kathleen Joyce.
Good morning. My name is Kathleen Joyce, Chair of the Boston Licensing Board. Today I'm joined by Commissioner Liam Curran and Commissioner Kiana Saxon.
Thank you. Please ensure that your audio and visuals are working properly. I will call each item in the order that it appears on this morning's agenda. I will then ask who is present on behalf of the applicant. You'll make a brief presentation regarding your proposal, followed by questions by the chair and commissioners. Following questions, there will be an opportunity for testimony, beginning with elected officials or their representatives. For members of the public wishing to testify, please limit your testimony to 2 minutes, and please state your name, address, and affiliation, if any. Begin with the first item on this morning's agenda, calling item number 1, Virtual Fulfillment Center, LLC, doing business as Virtual Food Court, or VFC, located at 313 Old Colony Ave in South Boston. Has applied for a common victualler license to be exercised at a previously licensed location, a 3,500 square foot takeout restaurant all on one floor, full open kitchen in the back, bathroom at the back of the restaurant, office space in the back with a separate bathroom, and basement used for storage. Manager Danny Aboulkir. Hours of operation 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. Who's present on behalf of the applicant?
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the board. Kristen Scanlon for the licensee, or for the applicant, excuse me, signed on with us today, as well as Danny Aboulkir, one of the owners and proposed manager of record for this establishment. The application before you this morning is for a new CV license at a location that was previously issued a CV license. It was last known as Supreme House of Pizza, which I believe has been vacant for approximately 2 years. By way of background, Danny brings 20 years of experience and a track record of running successful restaurants in Cambridge. He had a restaurant in Harvard Square and Central Square previously, offering culinary expertise and innovation. He and his partners also have additional experience in restaurant technology, marketing, and branding. And as a first-generation immigrant and a minority-owned small business, he aspires to grow and become a leader in the food industry. For this particular location, they are changing the overall food concept that the previous licensee had, but keeping the same hours, which are 11 to 11, 7 days a week. Their goal is to offer an extensive menu with Danny as the chef. The menu includes high quality, diverse Mediterranean foods, such as salads, Middle Eastern dishes like hummus, tabbouleh, and falafel, but also pizza, burgers, pastas, deli sandwiches, smoothies, and pressed fresh juices, along with a kids menu that offers both favorite types of kids foods and healthier options as well. A housekeeping note for the board: the description of the licensed premises does need to be amended to include a proposed 14 seats, which we will amend and submit to the board along with an updated floor plan following this hearing. Additionally, the applicant is working with an architect to consider a further increase in the seats without, or with the attempt of not triggering any further building or plumbing code. So if that happens, we'll certainly come back to the board as well. On a similar note there too, and as part of the proposal for this location, following the establishment of dine-in eating, the applicant is working through the community process and the ZBA appeal process to remove the previous 36A takeout proviso to this petitioner only that applied to the previous CV licensee at this site, and would also potentially like to open earlier. We are in the process of outreach with the community, already participating in an ONS sponsored abutters meeting last month. We still need to meet with the Andrews Square Civic Association to address any further questions and concerns for this location. regarding the takeout aspect. Once we get through the remainder of the community process and ZBA process, we will return to this board with respect to those components of the license and any potential change in hours as well. But for now, the proponent would like to get open with the same hours as the previous business for dine-in service here.
Thank you, Attorney Scanlon. Anything further before we move to questions from the board?
Not at this time, thank you.
Thank you. In that case, we'll see if there are any questions. Chairwoman Joyce.
Thanks, Attorney. Thank you, Danny. So just to summarize what we are considering today, this is an application that you're going to amend for 14 seats. It will be dine-in only. This was a previously licensed location. That does not require an advertisement, but given the fact that there was a lot of community outreach to us, this board decided to hold a public hearing. We didn't need to hold a public hearing for a previously licensed location. That was CV only, but we decided to. And you also did say that should there be any changes to this license as far as takeout window, change of hours, you'll undergo a full community process and come back to this board.
Exactly,
Okay.
yes.
Okay, I just wanted to get that on the record. Thank you. Commissioner Curran, do you have any questions?
Not this time, thank you.
No questions. Thank you so much for the summary.
Thank you. We'll see if there is anybody with us who would like to testify, beginning with elected officials or their representatives.
Yes, Madam Chair, members of the board, Connor Newman with the Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Services. This time, the Mayor's Office would like to defer to the judgment of this board. As you heard from the applicant's representation, a butters meeting was held July 17th. The outreach has been focused on their proposal involving delivery being the option as opposed to dine-in, which is what we're here for today. The concerns that we've heard from the community are focused more on the delivery aspect, and the letters of support that they've generated are also focused on the delivery aspect of this. We have so far 50 letters in support. We mentioned people excited about healthy food options. The Andrew Square Civic has expressed concerns that they have not had a chance to meet with the applicant yet. I understand that's happening in late September. And as you heard from the applicant's representation, they will be going and they'll be meeting with the Andrew Square Civic. At this time, we'll defer to the board. Thank you.
Good morning. Good morning, Madam Chairs and members of the board. This is Laura Toledano from Consul Flynn's office. I will read his statement now. Madam Chair, members of the board, Consul Flynn would like to go on record in opposition due to concerns on finishing the community process. Consul Flynn would like to note that the pedestrians and public safety concerns of neighbors when it comes to the delivery piece, as this is in a very dangerous intersection at a rotary in South Boston. He'd like to emphasize that the proponent was working in good faith on these issues and others with the neighbors when it comes to not utilizing the third-party delivery apps or drivers, as that has also exacerbated our city's pedestrian safety crisis with mopeds not obeying the rules of the road. The proponent was reportedly also working closely with the community on using their own drivers, utilizing parking spaces in the adjacent lot, and working to find agreement on delivering hours, among others. However, although this hearing is taking place now, it was our understanding these conversations were continuing with the Andrew Square Civic Association next month, as community process had yet to be finalized. Councilor Flynn respectfully requests that the board hold off on any determination until this community process has taken place, and the proponent continues to work on these issues in good faith with the community. Thank you.
Thank you, Laura. Are there any other individuals who would like to testify on this matter? I see a hand raised from Linda Zablocki. Ms. Zablocki, you may please unmute yourself and you have 2 minutes to provide your testimony.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Hello, can you? Okay, thank you. Good morning, everybody. Linda Zablocki, Andrew Square Civic Association and lifelong resident of Andrew Square. I just would like to say that we were thrilled to have them come to us, that there was good food choices going to be had for people in the area because it is a food desert. But our major concern is public safety. There are at least 2 accidents a week down at that area. And if it is delivery or third-party delivery, it's going to definitely cause very, very bad situation. We have many community things down there. We have St. Monica's that has masses. They have food bank twice a week, AA meetings twice daily. Divine Recovery has meetings. The Fourth Presbyterian Church up the street has a day camp to the park and beach daily throughout the summer, daily food meals, AA and Al-Anon weekly meetings. Ollie and Tierney Perkins Elementary School, preschool, daycare, elementary school, and after-school daycare programs for ages 3 to 12. 2,000 units of BHA family housing in the area, including elderly and handicapped, which eventually will be increased by another 2,000 when they redo Mary Ellen McCormick. And this does not include the families and residents in the neighborhood that use the park and beach for recreational and exercise activities. You know, I understand that you have over 50 signatures in support, and I would tell you I would sign it myself too if I was not aware of the safety issues in this area. We have been addressing this as Andrews Square Civic for well over 2 or 3 years, or even longer. So it has nothing to do with the food that's being processed there. It is the whole delivery thing. And I do need to state this, that I was under the understanding that they were looking for 8 seating places in that, and now it's 14. We tried to work with the proponents, and we have not had them in front of Andrews Square yet. And I would like to say that without the safety measures and improvements, this would be a fatality waiting to happen. We've already had children that the mothers grabbed them by the hood before they get killed by a car. And that was just about a year ago. And who would the onus be on? The city, the community, the business person? This is our concern. Our concern is not making money. We love the fact that the food is going to be there with the healthy choice for the people in the area because they really have nothing, but we have to make sure first it is safe.
Thank you, Ms. Zablocki. Those are your 2 minutes. I do see another hand raised. Just remind anyone wishing to testify that the proposal before the board this morning is for dine-in service only. Any proposal to add takeout or delivery would require them coming back before the board after zoning relief is granted. I see a hand raised from a P. McCormick. You may also provide your testimony. You'll have 2 minutes to do so.
Thank you, Patty McCormick, Andrews Square resident and Vice President of Andrews Square Civic Association. And I was going to mention takeout. I didn't know takeout was going to wait until they had a license. But we are in the middle of a process, and this is a really dangerous area. I'm going to echo what Linda has said. And we just need to continue to work together to come up with solutions for everyone to thrive and survive. And safety has to be everyone's responsibility. And we feel if it opens without all the measures in place, even with just the dine-in, but 8 people right now or 14, whatever you're having, how do you eliminate people taking out right now? How do you make sure people don't pull up, double park before things are put in place? We talked, if you look at the ONS meeting, the video, you'll see that we talked about safety measures. And I think it's important to complete this. And I hope that the proponents realize that it's important too, and appreciate the opportunity to testify. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. McCormick. I see a hand raised from Maria Bermudez. You may provide your testimony as well. You will have 2 minutes to do so.
Good morning. Thank you. Yes, my name is Maria. I'm a homeowner on Preble Street. I am very happy to have healthy food options in our neighborhood. We really need these variety of foods. And I expect that this concept is going to be very popular. And so happy that you're going to have 14 seats for dine-in. But I suspect that people will stop by to pick up food, either for lunch or for dinner. And there is no parking in our neighborhood. So folks will double park, I'm sure, run in quick to pick up the food. This is my concern, again, as has been expressed, that this area is highly traveled. It's at a very busy, dangerous intersection on the Rotary. And I think there's an easy solution. The owner of the property, Mr. Patel, owns a parking lot for primarily currently being used by the liquor store. There are 10 spaces there. I think it's really would be neighborly of Mr. Patel to provide some of these parking spaces dedicated to this virtual food court, or what now is this dine-in restaurant. You know, the neighborhood cannot absorb any more parking, and it is a very dangerous intersection for people to be double parked. So I asked Mr. Patel to consider, again, providing some spaces for his new tenant. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Are there any other individuals who would like to testify on this matter? Any further questions from the board? That the board will take this matter under advisement. Thank you.
Thank you.
Calling item number 2, Raising Cane's Restaurant LLC, doing business as Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers, located at 101 Arch Street. Holder of a common victular license has petitioned to change the closing hour of the licensed business from 9 p.m. to 2 a.m. Manager Marcus Carter, current hours of operation 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. Attorney Tom Miller. Attorney Miller.
Thank you, Secretary Green. Good morning, Chairman Joyce, Commissioners. Tom Miller from McDermott, Quilty, Miller, and Hanley on behalf of the licensee Raising Cane's. I'm joined by Adam Karachi, the Raising Cane's development manager for this location. As Secretary Green said, the application before you is to amend the closing hour from the one they inherited from the previous licensee at the premise, Pret a Manger, from 9 p.m. to 2 a.m. As the board is aware, Raising Cane's is an experienced operator with multiple locations in and around the city, as well as more than 800 nationally. They have 2 in the city, including one with this closing hour of 2 a.m. They've operated successfully and without incident at the Boylston Street location for more than 3 years with this closing hour. They understand the responsibilities of operating a restaurant here to serve those residents, employees, and visitors who are looking for a food option later in the evening. This location does have an outdoor patio, as the board is aware. It wasn't mentioned, but we are proposing to close that patio at 11 p.m. Raising Cane's has taken what they've learned in their many years of operating both at Boylston Street and nationally, and have applied it to the way in which they operate this location. The extension of hours here will allow them to bring that later night food option to the area in a way that will benefit the surrounding community and bring vibrancy to the area. We want to thank you for hearing the application today, and we'd be happy to answer any questions you have.
Thank you. Chairwoman Joyce, any questions for the applicant?
At this time, no, I'll wait. I'll see if I have any questions after the public testimony. Thanks.
Thank you.
Commissioner Saxon, any questions at this time?
No questions from me. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any individuals who would like to testify on this matter, beginning with elected officials or their representatives?
Yes, Madam Chair, members of the board, Connor Newman with the Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Services. This time, the Mayor's Office would like to defer to the judgment of this board. We have the applicant circulate flyers to abutters within 300 feet. We're unaware of any concerns at this time. They also attempted to reach out and make contact with the local civic association. With that, we'll defer to the board. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other individuals who would like to testify on this matter?
Good morning, Commissioner Joyce and members of the board. Doug Meyer from the downtown Boston bid. We want to stress that we're very excited for the proponent to open when it comes to a specific matter before the board. Our understanding is the proponent and their landlord have not come to an agreement yet in terms of the operational logistics related to this request. Therefore, it seems like the best move at this juncture would be to defer this to a later date until the parties can come to an agreement on the matter. Thank you.
If I just can quickly address one aspect of that. Raising Cane's is working and has worked with the landlord on the security arrangements for the areas in and around the premise of the building, in addition to their own operational plans and arrangements, in which they have, in which they have based on their experience. I can let Adam talk a little bit more about what their status of communication with the landlord and their own policies and procedures.
Thank you, everyone. Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Okay. Adam Karachi with Raising Cane's, 6800 Bishop Road, Plano, Texas, 75024. Yeah, we have been communicating with the landlord. Just for background knowledge, this building sold during construction, and so our original landlord provided 24/7 security. The new landlord provides there's security in the building, but not in the lobby until 6:30. We have a door that egresses for life safety through the lobby. We have been working with the landlord. The latest proposal back to them was that we would split the cost of security for those extended hours beyond 6:30. They were amenable to that, and we're just waiting for their final feedback on the matter, and we'll amend our lease to include that information.
Thank you for that. Any questions from the board specific to the testimony we just heard?
Yes, so Does the landlord approve the hours going to 2 AM?
The landlord is supportive of it if we pay for the security, which is what we are working on them with. So we agree to pay for the security, but we think that they should pay for part of it because originally when we entered a lease, 24 hour security was being provided. But at the end of the day, we're working with the landlord. So it's they have the latest draft amendment and they just need to respond to us.
When do you expect that to be? Is there a time they have to respond by?
Any day now, but I will mention that this restaurant is opening on August 28th. So it would behoove us to have the hours extended before then.
Yeah, I just would have a hard time extending the hours if we don't know the security arrangement. So if you could get that to us before we vote on Thursday, otherwise I would be inclined to defer until we have that in writing.
We will work with the landlord to get that as expediently as possible. And we'll keep in contact with Doug and his group about those arrangements as well.
Thank you. Are there any other questions from the board? Are there any other individuals who would like to provide testimony on this matter? Board will take this under advisement. Thank you.
Thank you.
Calling items 3 and 4, Bar Taco Fenway LLC doing business as Bar Taco located at 1321 Boylston Street. And Bar Taco Fort Point LLC doing business as Bar Taco located at 25 Thompson Place. Holder of 2 common victular 7-day all alcoholic beverages licenses have petitioned to change the manager of the licensed businesses from McKenna Smith and Michael Bernard respectively to Anthony Figueroa in both cases. Attorney Dennis Quilty. Attorney Quilty.
Good morning, Attorney Green, Madam Chair, members of the board. Dennis Quilty, attorney representing the 2 applicants before you this morning for a change of manager to Anthony Figueroa. With me this morning on behalf of Bar Taco is Kelsey Knees and the proposed manager of record, Anthony Figueroa. And other than this, there are no other changes to be made to these licenses, and we're happy to answer any of your questions. Thank you very much.
Thanks. Thank you, Attorney Quilty. Mr. Figueroa, are you a citizen?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you a resident of Massachusetts?
Yes.
Can you describe your experience in the food and beverage industry?
Yes, I've been in the industry for 20 plus years. Culinary, obviously, just been multiple restaurants, ton of experience as far as front and back of the house. Been with Bar Taco for about 3 years now. Been regional chef, oversee the Fenway location, our Seaport location, and our Brookline location, equal time with all locations. And yeah, that's it. Kind of help oversee the culinary aspect of the restaurants.
Are you familiar with the rules and regs of this board, the ABCC, the laws of the Commonwealth pertaining to the sale and service of alcohol?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you explain to us a little bit more detail about how you plan on splitting your hours between, my concern is these 2 places, how you're gonna manage them?
Yeah, I mean, I just equal time between both. I mean, I'd probably spend about 3 days in one and 3 days on the other, basically.
And they're used to, Madam Chair, if I may just come in for a minute here, they're used to going back and forth between these locations as there are 2 sites in the city. So almost daily, vehicles and management people, Mr. Figueroa going back and forth to maintain, control over these. I will say that these changes were made as a result of management people who left, kind of leaving the applicant a little bit high and dry. So this hopefully is a Band-Aid for a while, that we can find successive manager for one of the 2 locations, and we'll be back before you to do that. In the meantime, I think Mr. Figueroa and Kelsey and her team, running these establishments have had a great experience in the last few years, and we'll certainly be able to run the day-to-day operations here satisfactorily, we hope. If had neither of these have had any issues, as the board knows, and we can expect that to continue.
Okay, thanks. Commissioner Carr, Commissioner Saxon, do you have any questions?
I do not. Thank you.
No questions, thanks.
Thank you. Are there any individuals who would like to testify on items 3 or 4?
Hi, Laura here for Constable Flame's office. We would like to testify on item 3 and go on record in support. Thank you.
Thanks, Laura.
Thank you very much. Are there any other individuals who would like to testify on these matters? Board will take this under advisement. Thank you.
Thank you.
Calling item number 5, Rhubarb Inc., doing business as O'Brien's, located at 3 Harvard Ave in Alston. Holder of a common victual or 7-day all alcoholic beverages license has petitioned to transfer the license from the above to Alston Live Concessions LLC, doing business as O'Brien's Pub at the same location. Timothy Philbin, manager, 1 a.m. closing hour. Also has petitioned to update the description of premise as follows: 3,517 square feet, 2 rear exits to yard, main dining room located in 1 room on first floor, with table seating for 48 and bar seating for 31 and 2 bathrooms, storage in cellar, and an outdoor annual patio for 32 patrons on private property between the hours of 11 a.m. and 10 p.m. Attorney Andrew Upton. Attorney Upton.
Good morning, everyone. Andrew Upton for the applicant. With me are Carl Lavin, Paul Armstrong, and Jordan Warshaw, who are the partners in this venture. With us also is Tim Philbin, who is the current manager of record, and he will be staying on as to further promote continuity as the bar changes ownership. Tim is a Mass resident, U.S. citizen. He's familiar with the rules and regulations of the board and the Commonwealth. He has extensive industry experience. He's been the GM here over 10 years, and he has not had any violations during that time. What we are proposing is the transfer of the license and the purchase of this business at the same location. Nothing else is changing. The update read by Attorney Green is based on the board's desire to update the technical definition, but it is exactly what they have now. The floor plan will remain the same. The hours will remain the same. Patio will remain the same. The manager of record, as I said, will remain the same. So it is just a purchase of the business and license. This group has the character and fitness to hold a license. Carl has been a booking agent for live bands. He's worked at Great Scott and O'Brien's in the past, so he has plenty of experience in the industry and with this specific venue. Paul has 20 years of producing of live music, including the Boston Music Awards, and Jordan Warshaw is the developer of both the Cambria Hotel in Somerville and the Raffles Hotel in Boston. So again, no changes. We are retaining all the same staff. We are taking over all the current bookings of the bands we have all come to love at this location, including bands such as Grub, Sweat and Beers, the Terminal Men, the Minks, and the Dead Senators, who have been on the roster recently. So we're looking forward to taking over this project, and we're glad to answer any questions.
Thank you, Attorney. I don't have any questions. Commissioner Carr, Commissioner Saxon?
I have no questions. Thank you.
No questions from me, thank you.
Thank you. Are there any individuals who would like to testify on this matter, beginning with elected officials or their representatives?
Yes, Madam Chair, members of the board, Connor Newman with the Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Services. This time, the Mayor's Office would like to defer to the judgment of this board. Our office is unaware of any concerns at the moment. We understand many Alston residents are very pleased that this neighborhood institution is staying open and staying active. With that, we'll defer to the board at this time. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other individuals who would like to testify on this matter? Board will take this under advisement as well. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Calling item number 6, Lahara Restaurant Corporation, doing business as Mofongo Factory Restaurant, located at 299 Hancock Street in Dorchester. Has applied for a common victual or 7-day wines and malt beverages license to be exercised on the above. Restaurant consisting of a seating area, kitchen, and bathrooms on the first floor and storage in the basement for a total of 2,200 square feet, 1,100 square feet per floor. Manager Yimi Lahara, closing time 11 p.m. Attorney Nick Zazula. Attorney Zazula.
Yes, good morning, Madam Chair, members of the board, Attorney Green, Nick Zazula, McDermott, Quilty, Miller, and Hanley in Boston. With me today is Yimi Lajara, who is the president and director of Lajara Restaurant Corporation and is also the proposed manager of record. I see Yimi is on screen. and with us today. So he is the operator of Mofongo Factory Restaurant, which is at 299 Hancock Street in the 02125 zip code of Dorchester. It's kind of near the corner of Hancock Street and Dot Ave, across from D-Bar. Mofongo Factory Restaurant is a Dominican restaurant. It opened about a year ago at this location. It's got an excellent reputation in the community since that time as a well-run establishment, committed to the concerns of the immediate neighborhood, not encountered any issues or problems since opening. For instance, I think he's got like 4.5 stars with 60-something reviews on Google. And it's a family-run business that he runs with his wife and family. He's originally from the Dominican Republic. He moved here in 2003. He became a U.S. citizen in 2012. He actually lives in Dorchester on Only Street, which is less than a mile away from this location. He went to Roxbury Community College, has over 15 years of experience in the restaurant industry, starting in 2008, where he worked with his father at a similar restaurant in Dorchester. So he has good experience operating similar Dominican restaurants to this concept here in the city. This is an existing restaurant, as I mentioned. It's had a CD license for about a year, but there are no other operational changes to the restaurant itself, no proposed changes to the inside, still 1,100 square feet on the ground floor with 19 seats and an 1,100 square foot basement for storage and things like that. Also, no changes to the proposed existing hours of operation. It still would remain 6 a.m. to 11 p.m. every day, so with the requested 11 p.m. closing hour. And he's looking to add the city-issued beer and wine license to his offerings if and when one becomes available from the city directly, again, in the 02125 zip code of Dorchester. As far as public need is concerned, the requested liquor license, we would suggest, will help meet the demand in need of customers to provide an added amenity to this unique international restaurant, while also, frankly, helping with its long-term viability at this location. To further the public need, we did provide a support petition with over 50 signatures on it from Dorchester and nearby residents. And he has had many customers ask him about the ability to order beer and wine while they are there having lunch or dinner. And finally, we did have communication with the Meeting House Hill Civic Association, which stated that they were here to support neighborhood businesses, again, of which this is one. And then finally, Madam Chair, I know you'll ask the questions as to the manager of record. He is also the proposed manager of record. He's a resident of Massachusetts, as I mentioned, of Dorchester. He is a citizen of the United States, as I had also mentioned. He's over 21 years of age, and he does have a lot of experience in the restaurant industry. And he's also recently TIPS trained. We did submit this morning to the board a copy of his TIPS training certificate, which he recently received. So happy to pause here, answer any questions that the board may have, and thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I think our computer system tagged this as 02122, but I know your testimony, and I guess Google is telling me it's 02125. So I just want to confirm that. Is that correct?
That's my understanding. Yumi, do you want to address that? What's the zip code for the restaurant? I thought it was 02125.
I just want to be certain we have it tracked right.
Hi, everyone. Yeah, based on Google and addresses online is 02125, even though it's like in the border of 02122 and 02125, it's exactly where it breaks.
Okay.
Madam Chair, I can look up assessing too, just to be safe if you'd like, while there's public testimony.
Okay, I think we're okay. I just want to make sure for our own tracking, should these licenses become available, that we are keying them the right way. So any other, if you want to look them up in the zoning, that would be great. We can too, but I just want to make sure we have our records correct. I appreciate your description of this premise and the intent to add beer and wine. and up to the Dominican menu offerings. And I'm just noting it's 19 seats, so I don't think I have any questions right now. What are your hours? Is it 10 a.m. to 11 p.m. or?
Madam Chair, 6 a.m. to 11 p.m. is what's there now, and that would remain the same with the 11 p.m. closing hour.
Okay,
And while you were speaking, I did look up assessing. Assessing also has it as 02125 for the record.
thank you.
You're welcome.
Commissioner Saxon or Commissioner Curran, do you have any questions?
I do not, thank you.
None from me, thanks.
Thank you. Are there any individuals who would like to testify on this matter, beginning with elected officials or their representatives?
Yes, Madam Chair, members of the board, Connor Newman with the Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Services. This time, the Mayor's Office would like to defer to the judgment of this board. ONS hosted a butters meeting on June 17th, which was described as positive. The applicant then went to reach out to the Fields Corner Civic as well as Meeting House Hill. And they also submitted a petition with 50+ signatures that were supportive of this proposal, which if the board does not have a copy of, we can forward their way. With that, we'll defer to the board at this time. Thank you.
Hello, Madam Chair, members of the board. Liam Remus from Counselor Fitzgerald's office. Our office would like to go on record in support of this proposal. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello.
Are there any other- Oh, sorry. Yes, go ahead.
This is Jackie Westevine from Fields Corner Main Street. I want to testify in support of Jimmy's request for a beer and wine license. I think it adds to the vitality of our neighborhood. Jimmy's been very responsive to neighbors, reaching out to several Main Street districts and several civic associations on his own. I've eaten there with my husband. It's delicious, and I look forward to having it in the neighborhood. I look forward to having a drink with my dinner in the neighborhood. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Are there any other individuals who would like to testify on this matter? Board will take this under advisement as well. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
And calling item number 7, Flagship Restaurant Group LLC, doing business as Forcella, located at 33 North Square, has applied for a common victualler 7-day all alcoholic beverages license to be exercised on the above in one room on ground floor at 33 North Square with dining area and kitchen in rear, basement for storage and restrooms, and in one additional room on ground floor at 37 North Square for additional seating, bar, and restrooms. Also with an annual outdoor patio of 500 square feet on private property in rear with 46 seats, an 11 p.m. patio closing hour, 2 a.m. indoor closing hour. Manager Shannon McGowan, attorney Dennis Quilty. Attorney Quilty.
Good morning again, Attorney Green, Madam Chair, members of the board. Dennis Quilty, attorney representing the applicant before you this morning. With me are the two owners of the restaurant, Nino Trotta and Shannon McGowan. Shannon is also the current and proposed manager of record. Good morning, and thank you for having us here this morning. Madam Chair, you just said the magic words, should these licenses become available. Indeed, we are before you today having anticipated that the legislature and the city together would come up with a piece of legislation adding to licenses in the city. In both the House and Senate version of this legislation, there were full all alcohol licenses, non-restricted licenses, which were made part of both packages. And we certainly hope that when and if this bill is finally passed, those licenses will become available. It is one of those, should they become available, again, as you suggested, that the applicant is requesting to be considered for. Just a little bit of history. The owners, and they are co-owners and operators of the restaurant, are residents of the neighborhood. They in fact live in the same building with the restaurant. They have had absolutely zero issues of a disciplinary nature in the establishment. They're well supported in the neighborhood as longtime residents and activists. They are involved in many of the organizations throughout the neighborhood, the social and community organizations. They are full-time members of this community in every respect. In that regard, we have, in our community outreach process, We went before the neighborhood council and received a unanimous vote in support of this application. We had an abutters meeting at which there were no objections raised. As with regard to the other neighborhood association, NURA, they were not meeting in the summer months at the time that we applied, and therefore they understood that we were going to go forward. We've had no objection, to be before you today in that context. So we think we have done a great deal of very positive community outreach and have received a great deal of support. We know as well that you are in receipt of a number of letters from organizations in support of this application, as well as which we're very proud and pleased about, letters of support from the state senator, the state representative, and the district city councilor. And I believe at-large Councilor Murphy is with us this morning to testify in support as well. This is a small restaurant, there's no question about it. And we suggest to you that by way of public need, it should not be only the large, only the corporate entities that are able to apply for and achieve this kind of a license, but rather the small local business people who are eking it out every day to make a living. That's who these folks are. They're regular neighborhood people. I will say, without hopefully embarrassing Mr. Trotta, that he is an immigrant from Italy who came here, became a citizen, operated this business very successfully, and others, made his way, did all the right things, played by the rules. And we're before you asking for your support for this application. You will not ever have a problem with these folks. They are, as I suggested, well respected in the neighborhood with absolutely no issues. They play a part in the positive things that go on in the community and are always there to support and help neighbors and organizations in and around the North End. So we hope, and I would also say their food is spectacular. If you haven't been there, please go and check it out, especially the absolutely beautiful outdoor patio, which is on private property behind the building. Food is delicious. They run it properly. They run it well. They are neighbors. They live there. And we hope you will agree that they are viable candidates for such a license if such licenses become available. And we certainly hope that they do. We hope that you will consider this applicant very seriously when and if those licenses become available. And we're certainly happy to take any of your questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Attorney Quilty. My question is regarding your current beer and wine license. Will you be returning that to the city?
Very interesting. We have discussed this item and knew that it would come up. I think without putting the owners on the spot in front of you, we would be happy to get you an answer before you vote on Thursday.
Thank you. And the reason why I ask this question is that
Understood.
I do get asked every single day about what we're doing about these licenses. And it's my belief that the intent of the legislation is not for a business to make a windfall by selling their current license and then receiving a free license. So
Understood.
something to think about, and we should talk about that before.
Yes, ma'am. We did discuss it, and we will give you a solid answer before you vote on Thursday.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
I guess I'd just like to add, my recollection is that was fully the expectation the last time we gave out similar licenses in the previous legislation.
I'm sorry, I didn't understand the question, sir.
It's a comment, sorry.
Oh, okay.
My recollection is that that was fully the expectation in the previous licenses we gave out under similar legislation the last time, that licenses would be turned back in if they're gonna be awarded an upgrade such as this. So that's all I would have to say about that. How small is the interior of the restaurant? How many seats?
Nino, Shannon, exact number of seats inside? You're muted.
Just asked you to unmute. Something should have just popped up on your screen.
Nino, can you hear me? You're muted.
Now
Looks
looks
like
like
he's
the screen is
frozen too.
frozen.
Yeah, is he frozen?
He's frozen.
Do you have a general idea?
I do. We just added, the reason I'm a little bit, there was a small area added to the restaurant about, I don't know, 2 years ago now. That increased the number of seats, and I'm missing it. I can certainly provide it to you before the day is out.
The licensee is unmuted now. I wonder if they're able to speak. Otherwise, I can also look up the license to find the capacity in the meantime.
Nino,
Can you hear me?
can
We
you
can
hear
hear
me?
you.
Can you hear us?
Can you hear us?
Yep, yes.
Hi.
Total number of
Yes.
seats inside.
Oh, hold on one second. Oh, it's 28 seats.
28. Okay, and it says annual patio. Is it heated? Do you have a covering? Like, are you able to use it all year? Or is it just like good weather?
No, I mean, we honestly use it, as long as the weather permits. I mean, September, some weeks in October, but that's about it. Also because, once it starts raining, it's a little bit cold outside. The delivery of bringing the food outside will not be as, it's not logistically doesn't make any sense if the weather doesn't permit it.
Okay, thank you. I just wanted to get a sense of how it works all year.
But Commissioner, I think what happened is that they requested annual, as I know a number of other places have, given the oddities of the weather these days, that you never know. In March, you could get a 68, 70-degree day, and it's beautiful, et cetera. So, and it's a very popular place to dine, I can tell you that. So
That's my sense too. So thank you. That's all I have.
thank you.
I'm just curious, do you plan on serving alcohol on the porch?
Presently, it's fully licensed and services there. Yes, all the time now. Yes.
No additional questions for me. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any individuals who would like to testify on this matter, beginning with elected officials or their representatives?
Madam Chair, members of the board, Connor Newman with the Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Services. This time, the Mayor's Office like to defer to the judgment of this board. ONS hosted a butters meeting on July 15th. Residents that were in attendance were supportive of this proposal. The applicant, as they described, went on to meet with Nunick, who were supportive of the proposal as well. We're unaware of any concerns at this time. With that, we'll defer to the board. Thank you.
Hi, Madam Chair, member commissioners, Patrick Lyons on behalf of Chairman Aaron Michaelwitz. We'd like to be on the record in full support of this. Nino and his team have been nothing but exemplary business owners in the neighborhood, and we offer our full support. Thank you.
Thanks, Patrick.
Hello and good morning. Hello and good morning, Madam Chair and members of the board. My name is Kevin O'Sullivan. I'm from Councilor at Large Erin Murphy's office. Councilor at Large Erin Murphy would also like to state her support for this effort for Forcella Restaurant, the community support it receives, and the history of management and success there. Thank you very much for your time and for your consideration.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Are there any other individuals who would like to testify on this matter? Seeing none, the board will take this matter under advisement as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. That is the last item before the board this morning. The board will vote tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Notice has been posted to the city's website. That will adjourn this morning's hearing. Thank you all and enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.